Okay, this is Trig lesson 6 for Geometry Essentials. What we're going to look at here is a combination of things for trig. There's a couple examples where we are missing two angles. In that case, we need to use inverse, sine, cosine, and tangent. There's also a few examples where we're missing two sides. That is when we need to use regular sine, cosine, and tangent. Inverses would look like this: sine inverse, cosine inverse, tangent inverse. So in this one, we are missing two angles. We need to find angle A and B. So when we're missing two angles, we need to use the inverses. First thing we'll do is label what we know. So we know that C is 31, B is 24. We don't know A. So to find A, what we will do is use the Pythagorean theorem. So we'll go 24 squared plus A squared equals 31 squared. So A squared equals 31 squared minus 24 squared, and then square root both sides. So in the calculator, I'm going to type in the square root of 31 squared minus 24 squared. 19.62. Okay. So the second thing we need to do is find angle A or B. So at this point, you guys should just choose one to find. I'll find angle A first because it's listed right here. Once we find angle A, we can figure out what's left of the 180 degrees. So we'll circle A. This is our op. Based on A, this is our op. Here's our height, so this must be adjacent. And then remember, we have to ask what we want. Sorry, that's a lie. I lied. That's when we're finding missing sides. We want to use the two angles we were given. So we were given the adjacent and the hypotenuse. In case we made a mistake here, we don't want to use that. So adjacent and hypotenuse. Adjacent and hypotenuse is cosine. So we're going to go cosine of A is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. And then to solve for A, we need to inverse cosine both sides. So these chunga chunga, and we'll find that angle A is equal to the inverse cosine of 24 divided by 31. We type that in. $39.27. So angle A equals 39.27 degrees. In class, we'll decide if we want to keep them whole or if we want to use the decimal. So that means that our third angle, angle B, so we found side A, angle A. To find angle B, what we're going to do is 180 minus 90 because of this one right here, minus 39.27. So angle B equals 180 minus 90 minus 39.27. So the other angle is 50.73 degrees. So those are our two angles and the side. So this next one, all right, on this one we need to find one angle and two sides. So if we look, we need two sides. That means we need to use the regular sine, cosine, tangent. So start by labeling what you know. You know that angle B is 30. A is 12. Well, we technically know what angle A is, but before we do that, let's circle B because it's what we're given, and we'll label our sides based on that. So this is going to be our op, height, adjacent. And then we need to decide which side we want to look for first. Because I see B first, let's go ahead and do B. So if we're looking for B, we have to ask what we want. and what we have. So what we want is side B, which is our op. And then what we have is adjacent. So op and adjacent, SOHCAHTOA. Op and adjacent is this one. So we're going to use tangent of B, which is 30 degrees, equals our opposite side, we don't know, divided by our adjacent side, 12. To solve here, what we do is multiply by 12 on both sides, these chunga chunga. So 12 tangent of 30 is equal to B. .93. Okay, so that is this side, 6.93. And then if you guys wanted to, at this point, you could use the Pythagorean theorem, and that would be fine. But I'm going to use trig because I think it's easier. To find side C, we have to start the same way. What do we want? What do we have? Still use what you have, which was the adjacent, just in case you got the last one wrong. But this time we want the height. Hypotenuse and adjacent is this one, cosine. So we're going to do cosine of B, but we know B is 30, is equal to the adjacent side, 12, over the hypotenuse is C. So this one we need to multiply by C on both sides. These chunga chunga. And then we divide by cosine 30. But again, you guys might have noticed that pattern by now. If you did, great. If not, that's fine too. So C equals 12 divided by the cosine of 30. That's 13.86. All right, those are our two missing sides. And then the missing angle is pretty easy. We just go 180 minus 90 from this one, minus 30, and that'll give us 60 degrees. So angle A is 60 degrees. All right, if you guys want to pause it and try this one, I might get cut off. If I do, I'll start a new video. So this one, we're looking for two sides. That means we're going to use regular again. So we'll label what we know. We know A is 40 degrees. B we don't know, but we can find pretty quick. And B is 17. So based on angle A, this is our op, height, and adjacent. If I want to find side A first, that's this one. We have to ask what we want and what we have. We have the adjacent. We want the opposite. Opposite adjacent is tangent. So tangent of 40 is equal to op over adjacent, multiplied by 17 on both sides. So A is equal to 17 times the tangent of 40. .26. Then to find side C, this is our height, so what we want is the height. What we have is the adjacent. Adjacent and hypotenuse is cosine. So cosine of 40 equals the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So what we do is multiply by C on both sides. Those chunga chunga, C cosine of 40 equals 17, divided by cosine 40. C will equal 17 divided by cosine 40. .19. And then last is the last angle. 180 minus 90 minus 40 is 50. I'm going to pause this and I'll start a new video because I know I'll totally get cut off.